nampak ramai askar pakai jubah hijau pegang pedang tunggu kat depan. Tu dia orang tak jadi nak serang masjid ni.
Masjid Raja Alang is one of the royal masjid in Beranon, Selangor, and was built in the year 1928. This masjid has some uniqueness in its historical background and underwent several renovations. There are some hidden stories behind this masjid, and in this video, we will unfold the mystery of the missing royal legacy. Selangor is located on the west coast of Peninsular Malaysia. Islam is the main religion in Selangor. It was spread through colonization, from ruling states to protectorate states. Since Selangor was once under supervision of Malacca Sultanate, this has caused Selangor to receive Tun Perak as the chief of Selangor. In 1745, the Islamic teaching has widened its wings during the coronation of Raja Lumu, also known as Sultan Salleh from a Bugis descendant. He was the Prince of Dar en Jalak, who contributed to the founding of Selangor with his Bugis brothers. Later in 1857, when Sultan Abdul Samad was on the throne, Islam was building up when the laws were introduced, and through this, many masjids were built. Selangor is divided into 9 administrative districts: Gombak, Hulu Selangor, Klang, Kuala Langat, Kuala Selangor, Petaling, Sabak Bernam, Sepang and Hulu Langat. Hulu Langat district is located between Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, on the southeast of Klang Valley. The origin of the name Hulu Langat was believed to be sourced from the word Hangat, which means hot, as Sungai Langat was a famous hotspot for traders. However, due to mispronunciation of the Tionghoa traders, the name was pronounced as Langat. Finally, Hulu Langat is formed due to the place was located at the river upstream, which referred to the word Hulu. Somewhere in Hulu Langat, there is a small town where the land is flourished with greens, and the sounds of farm animals filled up the space and become the morning lullaby. The people rise and start their day. Some are farmers, some are barber, and some are sellers who work in this town. Aside from this beautiful town, there was a horrifying tragedy. Long ago, there was a fight between a Minangkabau tribe from the north and a group of Negeri Sembilan citizens from the south, to win the heart of a beautiful lady. Keras and spears were their weapons to kill one another. After some screams, tears and stabbing, blood were shed and spilled into the river, turning it into bright red. The corpses were floating and looks like swimming. The local Minangkabau called swimming as berenang. And that is how this town got its name.
Sumber utama beranang ni padi. Keliling ni ikutkan sawah. Kalau ikutkan beranang ni asalnya 3/4 sawah tanah beranang ni. 1/4 je rumah. Jadi kalau ikutkan depan ni semua sawah dulu. Jadi lepas pada pelantikan daripada kerabat yang biasa tu, ada sedikit perubahan lah. Orang kata kena tulah lah. Masa tu lepas pada tu padi tak jadi.
Lemongrass plantations have now replaced the paddy fields. Lemongrass became the primary form of agriculture because it is easy to grow, it takes a duration of up to only 4 months. And there are less competitors in the market.
Ni kalau tanya orang luar pasal beranang ni, orang cerita pasal tukang urut lah. Dulu tukang urut di sini kalau ceritanya memang mujarab lah, urut patah. Masa kalau pernah diceritakan seorang pakcik ni, dia kata dulu dia bawa atuk dia datang kemari. Dia orang mana saya tanya. Atuk dia jatuh pada pokok kelapa, kaki patah. Datang sini urut. Esok pagi dia boleh panjat pokok balik. Dulu pekan beranang ni majoriti Cina. Di kawasan-kawasan yang masih ada Cina ni kira dah tak ramai lah. Mana kawasan Melayu yang kedai-kedai Melayu ni kebanyakannya kedai-kedai baru. Kisah ni orang kata kalau kisah ceritanya mungkin tak berapa logik lah kita zaman perang dulu. Bila nak berperang tu, dia orang nak serang ke masjid tau zaman dulu. Lepas tu diceritakan, wallahualam betul ke tak betul, dia orang nampak ramai askar pakai jubah hijau pegang pedang tunggu dia orang kat depan. Jadi menyebabkan tu dia orang tak jadi nak serang masjid ni. Dia orang tu yang kebanyakan dia orang keluar.
The Minangkabau tribe in Beranan is believed to originate from Sumatra, Indonesia, and were known for their strong belief and practice of the adat perpete custom. One of the tradition is pesta mantai. Mantai came from the word membantai, which means preparing freshly slaughtered meat, farmed by the locals before Ramadan and Idul Fitri celebration. This event has been the yearly festival for more than a century. However, most of the Manan culture had disappeared, leaving the food and language.
Itu je lah, tradisi orang Minang pertama sekali makan dengan batu itu. Makanan dia tu lah, santan dengan cili padi mesti nak ada. Kalau tak ada tu, hari nak raya besok kan? Sekali kita tak ada lah. Ada kita cili padi tu kan, orang Ngalabah ada, kaum Minang. Dia akan cari jugalah kakek domba dengan mana.
Masjid Raja Alang was believed to be built by a royal bloodline from the Selangor Sultanate. It was built by the 5th Sultan, Sultan Sir Aladdin Sulman Shah, Ebni Raja Muda Musa, around the year 1926 to 1928. Even though it was built by the 5th Sultan, why was the name of the masjid dedicated to Raja Alang? Raja Alang was one of the richest men who had contributed to the establishment of Kuala Lumpur, and also the main donator to build the masjid.
Jadi kalau nak cerita siapa Raja Alang, saya cuma tahu setakat tu lah. Bahawa datangnya kedatangan dia sebab bapak dia Raja Brayun. Raja Brayun datang menjadi orang besar dan malah dia kata panglima yang utama kepada Sultan Abdul Samad. Sultan Samad jadi raja 1857. Dan dia orang datang ni daripada gerombolan kita tahu sesuai rombongan lah, gerombolan kadang-kadang jahat kan. Orang-orang mendaling yang lari dari perang padi. Asalnya sebab dia tengok lawan dengan Inggeris, dia pun lawan dengan Inggeris juga, tapi lala bila susah sangat dia ambil polisi berbaik dengan Inggeris.
Raja Bryan was the ruler of Hulu Lungut, and once helped Sultan Abdul Samad during Klang War. In response to that, Sultan Abdul Samad had rewarded Raja Alang with vast amount of land around Hulu Lungut area, as a token of appreciation to Raja Bryan for being his best war general, or Panglima Perang. He also was granted as a Pemangku Sultan, and the ruler of Hulu Lungut. The ancestor chart showed the lineage of Raja Alang, which depicted that Raja Alang was Raja Bryan's son. Unfortunately, there was no names for the maternal side, thus the mother of Raja Alang was anonymous. Also for his first wife, remains unknown even for their own family. Sultan Sir Aladdin Sulaiman Shah named the masjid as Masjid Raja Alang, as an appreciation for saving the royal family. Because of that, the establishment of the masjid was given a strategic location, near to Jalan Semenye, connecting Kuala Lumpur Seremban. During late 19th century, the road had once become an important route from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore. This land was owned by a Bugis man named Janggi bin Yunus. who involved in the construction of the masjid with other people including Sultan Sir Aladdin Sulaiman Shah, or known as Pak Katabu Jang. Jangir gave a portion of his land named Portion 405, covering around 82,308 square meter. In 1926, the land was subdivided from Portion 405 to Portion 1812 for the masjid, and Portion 1813 remained as an agricultural land. 2 years later, the land of Portion 1813 was re-subdivided into Portion 1823 and Portion 1824. However, Portion 1824 has been cancelled by the Land Authority and combined with Portion 1812 to be Portion 1825. On the 22nd of June 1928, the land of Portion 1825 was officially reserved for Masjid with the Registration Gazette number 3634. In 26th of March 2015, the land was re-gazetted for Masjid and Water Krajan Negeri Selang number 1141. The current lot number is 40,792 covering 3,289 square meters. According to Pejabat Daerah Hulu Langat, Menteri Besar Selangor has reserved the land, and registered under a record in Jabatan Okadun Pemetaan Negeri Selangor, Jupam, for public purpose. The land was then under control of Jabatan Agama Islam Selangor and supervised by Majlis Agama Islam Selangor. Moorish, Mughal, Neoclassical, and Malay architecture. Those are the architecture styles in Masjid Raja Alang. The original layout of Masjid Raja Alang was basically a square-shaped and has the essence of symmetry and balance. As times passed by, the layout of the masjid started to expand as the number of the population increases. It was first built in 1928. Before an Islamic school existed around 1953 beside the masjid. 31 years later, new females and males toilets were built replacing the old one. In 1992, the Islamic school was demolished while right and left side of masjid were extended to cater more Jemaah. During 1996, male toilet was replaced into a new one. The expansion continued in 2006 where the front veranda was enlarged and expanded. Meeting room and kitchen were constructed at the rear side of masjid in 2009. Around 2014, Siak house and garage for Janazah van were built. In the early 2016, Muslimat praying area is extended to fit up more Muslimat Jemaah at one time. The centralized organization of masjid controls the circulation of Jemaah from all spaces lead to or from the main prayer hall. The location of each of entrance clearly allowed smooth circulation towards users. When the Jemaah arrived at the masjid, some of them will enter straightly into the masjid and some would take their wuduk at the ablution area. From there is a pathway that lead the users to go straight into the prayer hall. Another entrance at the right side is the additional entrance so that it would not be too crowded when users want to enter or exit from the masjid. This arrangement of entrances is to avoid path disturbance of Jemaah in the prayer hall. The minaret and the steps leading users to the masjid highlight the masjid's entrance, giving it a sense of welcoming. The gradation of leveling from entrance to main prayer hall also gives direction as well as highlighting the importance of the prayer hall as the most sacred place. The clear axis approaching the mihrab gives one attention to have a clear intention that is to worship for the sake of Allah. The square-shaped interior was meant to maximize the usage of the space. having a square shape. The Jamaah could have more rows in the space rather than having a circle shape. The tall height of the main praying hall gives a symbolic meaning where Allah is almighty and his creations are small. Praying in this hall creates a feeling of humbleness in their heart as if they are small towards the eye of the Creator. Being a masjid from the royalties, there are no ornamentations found in the masjid except for the calligraphy paintings and the carvings on the minbar. Why is that so? It is assumed that Raja Alang hoped the Jima would leave all the status and worldly affairs behind as they entered the masjid. As for the calligraphy, youth styles of different verses from different surah in the Holy Quran and Art Deco style of ornamentation are drawn manually on the walls by an Indonesian painter in 1975. However, the calligraphies does not exist in the earliest construction. Believing that the Quranic verses are words from the Creator, it was carefully placed at a higher position and certain angles on the walls. Every Friday prayer, the Imam will give khutbah on the mimbar. It existed in the earliest construction for 88 years. Originally, the steps going up are facing the Qibla. The motif on the panel of the mimbar has the influence of Minangkabau style called Kalak Paku. The freely foliage of Kalak Paku flow within the geometrical void of the panel, balancing the strict geometric patterns. In between the turned posts on left, right and rear side of the mimbar platform is the arch-like fully pierced carved timber panel having the same carved vegetative motif of Kalak Paku foliage. The front side of the mimbar is decorated with a fully pierced wooden carved panel consist of a symmetrical diamond lozenge called buah ladu, framing a flower motif in the middle. The flower is the source that holds a rectangular, interlocking swastika motif on both sides. The swastika pattern was commonly used by the Malays as the symbol of protection. Originally, the Muslim prayer hall does not exist as women are not encouraged to pray in the masjid. To cater the needs of community, quarters of the main prayer hall was allocated at the right side for the Muslimah, limited for 25 people. In early 2016, the Muslim prayer was extended catering 80 people at one time. In Masjid Raja Alang, veranda not only acts as transitional area between one space to another, but it also functions as a platform for informal activities such as discussion, meeting place and extra space for congregational prayer, especially during Friday and Ramadan. The exposed and open veranda area let the natural sunlight to come in and allow smooth ventilation to circulate. The tiles used for flooring at the veranda keep the surrounding to stay airy, breezy and cool without consuming mechanical ventilation. It is believed the Muslim take wuduk to cleanse their sins of the day before facing the Creator. In the early years of Masjid, the male would take wuduk at the nearby river to gain reward of walking to the Masjid in wuduk. The ablution pool in Masjid Raja Alang acts as a major water element in the masjid. It controls humidity of air inside and outside of the masjid, as well as to maintain the thermal comfort of human body. It is placed in an area that could easily be seen and reached, as performing ablution is the first act before entering the prayer hall. Formerly, a person had to walk on stone pavements arranged with gaps, towards the main prayer hall. From the year 1984 till 2012, the ablution pool was further developed as it was enlarged and raised. Series of steel pipes were added along the side of the pool. The roof also upgraded into fully covered roof which was extended towards the central part. In 2012, The ablution pool was once again upgraded and the pipes were removed. Masjid Raja Alang follows the original Meru style, where the original column positioned at the main prayer hall and the ablution area are similar, which are square in shape. There were only 4 central columns and 8 pillars, supporting the columns in the central of the main prayer hall at the early construction of the masjid. The columns are made up of I-column cast iron, and embedded with lime concrete, to make it handle compression better. The clay bricks are arranged accordingly, bracing the concrete infill. The outer layer is then covered with lime plaster to have a smooth finish. Other 22 pillars of column in the masjid are made up of concrete infilled with coarse aggregates and stones. Clay bricks are arranged in square acts as the formwork for the infill. The location of the pillars are indicated in the diagram. The original wall system of Masjid Raja Alang was 250 mm thickness load-bearing wall, with lime plaster inside and lime render outside. The bricks used were red bricks or clay bricks, and arranged with a gap in between 2 bricks, in a running bond arrangement. The gap was filled with expended metal, as to reinforce the wall as well as allow the wall to breathe, and reduce the heat radiation from the sun towards the inner space. The cast iron reinforced concrete beams are installed in the grid of 9, transferring the load of the roof. A part of the 9 grid beams, Masjid Raja Alang has a beam at the front minaret. It is to cater the load of the mezzanine level, which was once a place for azan, as well as to support the second highest semi-spherical dome. The whole roof design follows the Meru style, which was believed to be derived from Marong Mahawangsa. The dome has 8 series of braced I-column, with bolts and nuts connection, as its main load supporter. The 8 steel panels, stand of steel braced by triangulation method, has a longer triangulation at each diagonal on the center grid beam, to support the roof ridge. The roof construction is then followed by timber rafters, timber joists, and timber battens. The terracotta tiles rest on the structure, protecting the interior of the masjid. The I-columns are encased with lime concrete, to hold the drum together. The central dome is decorated with 8 pinnacles, depicts the limitless beautification of the Almighty, and filled with 6 semicircular steel screen lattices windows, left unprotected as to allow cold air immerse through the windows. Masjid Raja Alang appears to be a unique building, as its Moorish Mughal colonial kind of look stands out from the surroundings. It appears to be one of attraction in Beranan, because of its noticeable look, and its strategic location makes it one of a spot stop for travelers. Masjid Raja Alang is an inherited masjid passed down to generations. It is one of the oldest buildings in Penang, and possesses golden histories. But the legacy is now slowly diminishing.
Bangunan ni kalau boleh dikekalkan, biarlah dikekalkan selagi boleh dikekalkan. Sebab kalau nak, inilah kita sayanglah sejarah bangunan yang lama tahun. Dah hampir 100 tahun. Jadi kalau boleh dimanfaatkan lagi, kalau tak perlu untuk digantikan, maknanya pakailah sampai dulu. Sebab tidak lagi satu, itu pun wakaf orang. Jadi kita panjangkan wakaf tu sampai selagi boleh dipanjangkan lah.